Hi, friends. I am Noel. I am a gallery interpreter at NHMLA, and we are back again for our Friday morning story time. I'm going to give a minute or so for people to log on and join in. So while we're waiting, I'm very curious what part of the world people are tuning in from. If you'd like, we do have our comment box where you can type in any thoughts you have during our live story time. But for now, if you're interested in sharing where you're tuning in from today, I'm so curious where everyone is watching from. I am in Miracle Mile, right in the middle of Los Angeles right now. Ah, good morning, Emily Baker. It is a really nice day outside, and I am very excited for a 3-day weekend. I hope everyone else is um, enjoying time at home right now. It's been a while at home, but I am finding new things to think about and research every day, which is really exciting. Um, all right, my friends. Well, it's 11:01. Oh, I see Sarai is tuning in from Los Angeles. Fantastic. I'm going to go ahead and get started. So I am Noel. I am an educator at the Natural History Museum here in Los Angeles. And welcome to my house. We are doing story time on Friday mornings at 11 and sharing new stories with you that have to do with natural history and kind of extending all of our passion out to you. Uh, we should be together for about 10 to 15 minutes. If you get disconnected at all, don't worry, this video will be posted to our Facebook page immediately afterwards. And please feel free to share any thoughts or comments you have, any answers to questions I may ask during the story in our comment box. So I have brought one of my favorite books today, Ada Twist, Scientist by Andrea Beaty. This is a New York Times bestseller. It is a very popular book. And for very good reason, I think. We have a story here today about a little girl who is exploring her identity as a scientist, who is asking important questions. And I picked this because science is fantastic, and no matter where we are or what's happening, we can always do science together. So we are going to learn a little bit about Ada and her story today. But my hope is that by the end of our story time together, all of you at home will know that you are scientists. Being a scientist is really all about just asking questions about the world around you and being curious and trying to find the answers to those questions. And, I also picked this book because the Natural History Museum is a place where active science is happening. Anytime you have visited us, you have seen our incredible exhibits that are there for enjoyment and connection, but there are also active science experiments and research happening all the time on our third and fourth floors, where we have scientists from all different disciplines working every day. We have scientists who are trying to figure out how you can see what animals live in the ocean by using just one drop of ocean water. We have scientists who are trying to figure out what the story of dogs on Earth has been over millions of years. How have dogs evolved? All of these incredible questions are things that scientists try to figure out, but asking any question about the world around you is doing science. So let's jump in and learn a little bit about Ada's story. Ada Marie said not a word till the day she turned 3. She bounced in her crib and looked all around, observing the world, but not making a sound. She learned how to climb and made her big break, with a trail of chaos left in her wake. She ran through the day, chasing each sight and sound, and didn't slow down till she conked out at night. Her parents were frazzled, but tried not to freak, as Ada grew bigger and still did not speak. Clearly, young Ada, with lots in her head, would have something to say when it ought to be said. That's just what happened. When Ada turned 3, she tore through the house on a fact-finding spree and climbed up the clock just as high as she could. Her parents yelled, "Stop!" as all good parents would. Ada's chin quivered, but she did not cry. She took a deep breath and simply asked, "Why?" Do you know what your first word was? Ada's first word was why. Why does it tick and why does it talk? Why don't we call it a granddaughter clock? Why are there pointy things stuck to a rose? Why are there hairs up inside of your nose? She started with why, and then what, how, and when. By bedtime, she came back to why once again. She drifted to sleep as her dazed parents smiled at the curious thoughts of their curious child who wanted to know what the world was about. They kissed her and whispered, "You'll figure it out." So many questions. Her parents kept up with their high-flying kid, whose questions and chaos both grew as she did. What's going on here? I think this might be a very colorful, very messy experiment. Even Miss Greer found her hands were quite full when young Ada's chaos wreaked havoc at school. But this much was clear about Miss Ada Twist. She had all the traits of a great scientist. I wonder what those traits might be. I think we've learned so far that Ada is very curious and inquisitive, meaning she likes to ask a lot of questions. And it looks like she likes to create experiments to answer those questions. Ada was busy that first day of spring, testing the sounds that make mockingbirds sing, when a horrible stench whacked her right in the nose, a pungent aroma that curled up her toes. "Zowie," said Ada, which got her to thinking, "What is the source of that terrible stinking? How does a nose know there's something to smell? And does it still stink if there's no nose to tell?" She rattled off questions and tapped on her chin. Can you tap on your chin? She'd start at the start, where she ought to begin. A mystery, a riddle, a puzzle, a quest. This was the moment that Ada loved best. Ada did research to learn all she could of smelling and smells, both the stinky and the good. One hypothesis Ada thought could be true. The terrible stink came from Dad's cabbage stew. She tested and tested, but soon Ada knew it was time to come up with hypothesis too. A hypothesis is an answer that you think might be the right one to your question, but it's an answer, a thought, an idea that hasn't been tested yet. So if you are curious about something and you think you might know the answer, that is your hypothesis. If you test it and it turns out to be the answer, it's your answer. I wonder what her hypothesis too might be. It's definitely not Dad's cabbage stew. I love cabbage, so yummy. Then zowie! The stink struck again, just like that. Hypothesis 2, it's caused by the cat. The cat couldn't make such a stink on its own. It needed perfume and some fancy cologne. So young Ada tested. The test was a flop. She started again, but her parents yelled, "Stop!" What is Ada about to do? I think she's about to wash her cat. Don't do that. Ada Marie, to the thinking chair, now, by the time we count 3. "Enough," said her mother. "That's it," said her dad. Her parents were frustrated, frazzled, and mad. "Why?" Ada questioned. Her mother said, "No." "What?" Ada queried. Her father said, "Go. You've ruined our supper. You've made the cat stink. Enough with your questions. Now sit there and think." She looked at her parents. Her heart turned to goo. Poor Ada Twist didn't know what to do. How is she feeling? I think she's feeling a little sad. It's hard when we upset the people that we love. What to do, what to do? She sat all alone by herself in the hall, and Ada once more could say nothing at all. And so Ada sat, and she sat, and she sat, and she thought about science and Stu and the cat, and how her experiments made such a big mess. Does it have to be so? Is that part of success? Are messes a problem? And while she was thinking, what was the source of that terrible stinking? Ada Marie did what scientists do. She asked a small question and then she asked two. And each of those led to 3 questions more, and some of those questions resulted in 4. As Ada got thinking, she really dug in. She scribbled her questions and tapped on her chin. Can we tap on her chin again? She started at why, and then what, how, and when. At the end of the hall, she reached why once again. The end of the hall. What has happened? Her parents calmed down and they came back to talk. They looked at the hallway and just had to gawk. Gawking is when you're like, oh my gosh. No patch of bare paint could be seen on the wall. The thinking chair was now the great thinking hall. They watched their young daughter and sighed as they did. What would they do with this curious kid who wanted to know what the world was about? They smiled and whispered, "We'll figure it out." And that's what they did, because that's what you do when your kid has a passion and a heart that is true. They remade their world, and now they're all in the act of helping young Ada sort fiction from fact. She asked lots of questions. How could she resist? It's all in the heart of a young scientist. They figured out a way to let Ada do her experiments in a way that made everybody feel happy at home. And as for that smell, what can Ada Twist do but learn all she can with her friends in grade 2? Will they discover the stink that curls toes? Well, that is the question. And someday, who knows? Sometimes when we have questions that we can't find the answer to, the best thing to do is just keep learning. That is the end of our story, friends. Ada Twist, scientist. You know, there are ways that you can be a scientist at home today. One of the easiest ways is to check out our website, NHMLA Connects. You can find that at www.nhmlac.org/connects. We have a lot of great content on there for you to check out. We have videos of some of those scientists that work at our museum that I mentioned earlier, talking about their passion and their discoveries. We also have a lot of incredible activities with instructions and tutorials on how you can do fun science-based activities at home. But one of the most Ada ways I think that you can be a scientist at home today is think about a question you have. Why is the sky blue? Why do plants grow? And work with a grown-up to see if you can do some research and maybe even an experiment to answer one of your questions. My friends, I hope whatever you do with the rest of your day, you have a fantastic one. We are all scientists. We can all do science together, and the world is a better place because of it. So thank you so much for joining me, and I hope you have a fantastic day. Bye, everyone.